Obviously I'm a Temple guy, so some people say, Mark, you're a little biased to Temple guys, and I'm like, of course I am. So without further ado, let's welcome on the Rothman Orthopaedics Guest Line, C.J. Perez, NFL Draft Prospects, Temple Offensive Lineman. The man is always described as undersized, which I just consider this is false. C.J., welcome to the show, my friend.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely. I don't know what it's like because, we grew up in this city with Jason Kelce and stuff like that, and we've always heard about Jason Kelce this, Jason Kelce that, and every single time he gets described, he's like, for an undersized center, this, that, and the other. And it's like, Hall of Fame career, Super Bowl champion, Mummers outfit at the Premier League, you just go on. The undersized thing, when people bestow that upon you, how do you shed that? Like, how do you get around that? Do you use it as motivation? What does that undersized tag mean to you?
I honestly, man, I've looked at it as a positive. Honestly, it really is. I play against so many guys that are bigger than me. Honestly, it's rare I play against a guy that is the same size as me. So I look at it as, crap, man. If you know football, low man wins. That's what everyone's always said. So I look at it as purely as a positive because there's really not many guys that are able to get under me. If they are, credit to them because they're obviously a really good player. But I'll be honest, man, it's motivated me. I look at it as a positive, and it's really only helped me. When people talk about if someone's too short, they more refer to, their arm length or stuff like that. But in regards to height, I think it's only helped me.
Yeah, you're what, 6'2", 6'1", 6'2"?
Yep, around that. Yep.
That does not seem wildly undersized to me. Maybe that's because we've been living with Jason Kelce here in Philadelphia for as long as we have. So you're originally from Kansas, and you come up here to the Philadelphia area to play Temple University football. How much did you look to a guy like Jason Kelce for pointers, getting that up close and personal view, being here in the city?
Yeah, man, for sure. Even before moving to Philly, I've always admired Jason and his playing style and just the type of guy that he is. Obviously, in some regards he's a symbol of Philadelphia and just what Philadelphia means, just blue collared, and so I appreciate that, he speaks when he needs to speak. He doesn't look for cameras. He doesn't go after interviews, or he's not big on social media, but he does it with his play. And if something needs to be said, he's going to say it, and he's not afraid to say it. But he plays nasty. He plays hard, man. He plays really, really hard. And that's just something that I definitely try to model my game after.
It's funny, and the cameras look for him is often how it ends up working.
For sure.
But I'm so glad you said that because that's him on the field, and that's kind of your motivation, obviously, on the field as well, to overcome that undersized thing, and you certainly use it as motivation, as gas in the tank, so to speak. But I'm so glad you brought up the idea of if something needs to be said, he'll say it. Because one of the things I've learned about you over the years, at the time you were at Temple, was that you're not afraid to say something either. Like, you're a leader on the field and off the field as well. As a matter of fact, and you might know what I'm alluding to, there was a little issue with your former head coach with some former players bad-mouthing him, and you were one of the guys to step up to defend your coach. Why?
That's a can of worms, man. Crap, we could go all day about that. But honestly, man, when it comes down to it, when it comes to people that are mouthing someone or about something, they got to be telling the truth. And if they're telling the truth, it is what it is. But if they're not telling the truth, then I can't really stand for that. And so, a lot of that is, man, a lot of those guys that were coming out and saying it were guys that, I'll be honest with you, they weren't going to play at Temple. They weren't good enough to play at Temple. And they had too big of egos, so they don't want anyone to know that. They don't want anyone to know that, yeah, they couldn't get on the field. So guess what? They're just going to say, yeah, they screwed me. Coach wouldn't play me. Coach wasn't giving me a chance. No, dude, you just weren't going to play. Simple as that. So, yeah, man, and again, the head man and all the position coach, yeah, they did a lot for me, 100%. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. There were times where I didn't want to be in the same room as the head coach, and there are times where I really appreciate him, and like I said, I'm glad he was in my corner. But when it comes to people badmouthing them. There was stuff that people would say that was true, but I'll be honest with you, probably 90% of the stuff was completely changed around, edited, and just wasn't accurate. So in regards to that, like, I'm not gonna let all these people just go on Twitter or Instagram or to the media and just make up all these lies. You know what I'm saying? It's just I wasn't gonna stand for that. So I said my piece. Oh man, do I still see stuff to this day that I could just absolutely lose it on, but I've been able to try to let it go. So
okay. Now you're not from the area, as we mentioned earlier. What was your welcome to Philly moment? Because I know as a city, especially on North Broad Street, we could be pretty daunting. So what was your welcome to Philly moment?
my first weekend, I walked out to my car and I'm looking at my passenger side mirror and it's gone. It is just it's not existent. And I left, I think I left something in my car and I had to run out there and it was on the street side and I walk up and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I was just absolutely lost. And that was one. And then yeah, I'll be honest, man, the big one for me, parking in the median. Parking in the median was a huge one for me, man.
Yeah.
And it's like I'd have family come and visit and they would be absolutely speechless of like, what are they doing? It's like, oh, they're just at work. It's like, they just leave it? I'm like, yeah, they just leave it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. But God forbid you park at a 2-hour parking place for 2 hours and 1 minute, ticket, just like that.
Yeah. Sure.
I can't. I always try to fathom like what it's like to just come into the city unaware of it. Like I kind of remember when I was a kid because I grew up in the burbs, and I was like 9 or 10 coming down and seeing that for the first time. I'm like, there's no rules here, are there? Like it's just like they say on the news. There's no rules. So yes, we do have that daunting. What do you like to do around town? Like when you were in Philly, what did you like to do around the city?
I honestly, man, it's weird. As crazy as Center City and Broad Street could be, man. Once I kind of got used to it, man, I love going to Center City. Reading Terminal. I love going to Reading Terminal. Anytime my family came in town, man, I always went to Reading Terminal. Always went to Reading. I mean, there's just so much you can do, and restaurants downtown, just walking around Love Park. Also, just I mean, obviously, I think my list consisted of probably 12 cheesesteak spots. So I was pretty. That was a big priority for my first summer when I got there.
Well versed. So, you were well versed.
Yes.
I have to ask you this because I am a sucker for barbecue. And where you hail from, my friend, it's the best. It's by far, it's the best barbecue on the planet. And I was a big fan of Gates. I was a big fan of Oklahoma Joe's. Did you have a favorite barbecue place? Do you have a favorite barbecue place back home?
You know, man, that's a real common question I get. It's always just been right there. So when people like assume that like, oh, all I eat is barbecue, it's like, no, because it's always been right there.
Right. No, I get like I
go-tos.
I have one cheesesteak a year, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, my go-tos. So Oklahoma Joe's, I don't know when this was, but for some reason it was now renamed Joe's. The reasoning, I don't know why, but it's just Joe's Barbecue.
Okay.
Joe's is for sure a go-to.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I think there's 4 or 5 within the area of me. So, I mean, it's very easy to go to. The original one, a lot of people know, the original one in a gas station that you can go to, which is really, really cool. I've been able to go to that a few times. Joe's Q39 is a really good one, too. That's the one that's, I think it's honestly, it's kind of been climbing over the last 5 to 6 years, but it's honestly it's a nice sit down restaurant, but just the quality that you're getting, fantastic. Really, really, really good.
I knew I was out of my element. I think I was at Jack Stack's, if that's a place.
Yep. Jack Stack's also a really good one. That's another like really nice sit. I mean, that's a nice sit down restaurant. Well,
that was the first place I ever went to where they said, well, do you want barbecue sauce? I was like, hell yeah. And they're like, what kind? And I was like, what? There's a type of, I just get the McDonald's packet and I'm good. So that's where I go with that. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that barbecue out there, man. Ooh, that's some good stuff. So what are you hearing right now as opposed to when it comes to your status with the NFL? Obviously, we got the draft coming up starting on Thursday. We'll go through the weekend and all that. What are you hearing about possibly being on an NFL roster in the upcoming NFL season?
Yeah, man, I've been able to talk to a few teams this week. I heard from guy from the Ravens today. I talked to the Bears last week. Small communication with the Eagles, and then I was able to do a local workout with the Chiefs a few weeks ago, which that's been some minor conversation there, but it's just been cool, man. Just have these conversations with these guys, and and again, they're not going to sugarcoat; they're going to be straight up with you. So a lot of them really just consist of hey, is this the phone you're going to have on draft night? You got any new injuries that are going on? Is your agent still the same agent that you had at the beginning? So a lot of it, a lot of the talks I've been hearing, signing a priority free agent deal. So, that'd be a great deal just to, get to training camp. We'll start with mini camp in the next 2 weeks, make a big impact. And then, obviously try to make the roster once training camp comes around.
What has it been like for you to follow NFL draft stuff, college prospects and all that stuff, and know that this stuff has an immediate impact on your life? Hell, even the free agency stuff in the NFL, offensive lineman signing wherever. What is it like for you to have that affect your life? Is that an exciting thing for you? Is that a thing that's, just anxiety ridden? Like, what is that like for you to know that that's affecting your life?
Yeah, man, I think you do your best to kind of control what it is. I mean, I've definitely had some stressful days about it, just with talks with my agent, some days where maybe, your phone's not ringing a lot, and then other days, crap, and that very next day you might get 3 or 4 calls and you're completely flipped. So I'm super thankful for guys that I've had in my circle. I got a lot of friends that are playing on Sunday right now, and guys that I met at Temple or guys that I met at my previous schools or friends that I've been able to work out with. So they've been able to give me so much good advice about, the do's and don'ts and just how to treat these next few weeks rolling into rookie minicamp coming up. So,
all right. Well, that's great, man. I want to go over some stuff with you real quick. I saw this on your Instagram, I believe it was. These are some of your draft, your workout numbers here. Bench press 26 times, which if that was at the NFL Combine, only 7 offensive linemen rep that more than you, which is pretty damn impressive. Vertical leap 32.5. Only 2 offensive linemen had a better vertical leap than your 32.5. Hey, not to brag for you, but that's pretty damn good, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to vertical, I was just as surprised as a lot of other people too. So I could not have been more happy with the way it went, though. But I mean, yeah, dude, pro day was awesome, man. It was cool being back, and I was obviously able to meet the new staff, and it was just cool being out there with my old teammates one last time, just in the same room, working out one last time together.
All right. For the people listening to this show on the podcast, I'm just going to let you know the people watching the show are going to be subject to some nudity. Here you are, CJ, on your Instagram, working out a little bit. You got the sunglasses on, you got the tights on, the shorts, topless. I guess that's for aerodynamic causes there. Here you are getting things done, though, my friend.
Trying, man, trying. I think the less clothes you wear, the faster you feel.
And then finally, this one here, you just look like you're all business. Again, topless. These sunglasses are back in from what I did. These are, in my day, my friend, these are like classic outfielder in baseball sunglasses. Or you're just spending all day fishing. One or the other.
Yeah, 100%.
That's great, man. CJ, this has been so much fun. Would you humorously and play? We used to call this Fast Five, and then I found out there's somebody else calls it Fast Five, and I'm like, I get away from it. I'll go back to the branding and just call it the Farzy Five. Do you want to play the Farzy Five with us, my friend?
I'd love to.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring in the band, guys. You want to get it going here? There. Thank you very much. Here we go. All right, Farzy Five with C.J. Perez, NFL prospect. Best job before football. Best job before football.
Best job before football. Volunteer football coach with my old middle school team.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Go-to fast food place.
This might be greasy, but I gotta go Arby's. Gotta go Arby's.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard they have the meats. They
do. That is true.
What do you like there at the old Arby's there?
They got a killer Reuben. Killer Reuben, dude. I'm a sucker for a Reuben. Gosh.
All right, good. Sounds good. Oh, here's this one. First date deal breaker. First date deal breaker.
I gotta have the lady has to have some class, man. So if the skirt's too short, or if I'm seeing too much up top, it's, obviously it's flattering, but we're in public. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Public.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. You don't want too many guys ogling at the lady.
Based on what she's wearing.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite city to travel to?
This is a trick question. I hope I don't get crucified for this. It might be Chicago. I got a lot of family in Chicago. Parents from Chicago. So
I love Chicago. Chicago's a great town. Love Chi-Town. And then finally, in traffic, you seem like a swell fella, but in traffic, what makes you beep your horn?
I'm gonna credit the city of Philly for this, but and again, I think I'm pretty loose with this. Stop sign, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. If they're not going after 3,000,
right,
I'll give them a little beat.
Wow.
And again, I learned that from stop sign. If you're not, people stop, you don't stop at stop signs in Philly. That's just
no.
What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Or a red light. It's almost like I used to be honked at a red light if I wasn't anticipating it to turn green, and if I didn't floor it when it did.
Yes.
Because everyone's time is more important than yours. So.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And it's funny
Yep.
you say that. I had a professor who was from London when I was at Temple, and he said that a stop sign in Philadelphia is a mere suggestion.
Yes.
And I said,
the amount of times one of my favorites is pulling up to the red light. If you're first in line, someone peeks up around you, looks both ways, no one's coming. I'm just gonna go. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. My personal favorite. Thanks, guys. The band, you guys are hot today. Thank you. Honestly, my personal favorite is when, you're at the stop sign, you've stopped, and another car comes up, sees that you've stopped, know that they could beat you through the intersection,
yep.
and never stop and keep going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad. That was great anticipation on their part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
C.J. Perez, wherever you end up, man, and I hope it's here in Philadelphia, but whatever you end up, I wish you nothing but success. Thanks so much for coming on the Farzy Show. Really appreciate it. And just lastly, are the Owls going to be okay next year? Is that going to be okay? That whole situation? Are we going to be okay?
I think they got a good staff coming in. And so I'm not making any promises. Everyone's got to give them some grace. But I think the future does look up for them for sure.
C.J. Perez says 3 bowl games in a row for the Owls. Okay. C.J., seriously, thank you so much, and best of luck to you. Thanks for joining the Farzy Show on the Rothman Orthopedics Guest Line.
Thanks for having me on, Mark. Have a good one.
You too.